live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hosted by me, your girl LaShia. Join me as I discuss social topics, spotlight independent artists, and share financial tips. Join the conversation. I want to hear what you have to say. Think Different TV, where minds meet. You're the reason I wake up, the reason I smile.
What is up, y'all? What is up? Welcome to Think Different TV. And here I am. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Think Different TV, where minds meet. This is the 6th episode of season 2 of Think Different TV. I'm your host, LaShia. How is everyone? How was your weekend? You know, tomorrow, it will soon approaching. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so I got on my red. I'm feeling a little sexy tonight. So definitely, love is in full effect tonight, tomorrow. I am super excited. As you can see, I'm gonna turn this heater off because it's a little hot. It's a little hot. I'm hot. And it's hot. But I'm in good spirits. Listen, Think Different TV is every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Shout out to my Tdtv fam all over the country. I thank you because you could be anywhere right now, but you choose to be here with me. So, Think Different TV could not be made possible without viewers like you and our sponsor. So let's get into it. Our sponsor is Euphoria Water. Euphoria Water is the cleanest, healthiest water in Philly. Alkaline water with minerals, no chemicals, no additives. It is good and good for you. If you're going to hydrate the right way. Get your Euphoria Water today. You can find Euphoria Water on IG at UPHORIAWATER. And if you live in the Philadelphia area and want Euphoria Water delivered to your home, you can definitely hit up Captain at 267-707-8279. And that is our sponsor. Like I said, Think Different TV is every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So y'all got to get with it right here on Think Different TV's YouTube channel. Listen, guys, make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button and turn on the notification bell on my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any new episodes, replays, or exclusive interviews from Think Different TV. Also, let's share the love by sharing the live. This is a perfect night to share the love. So after you share, comment hashtag Tdtv. Again, after you share this beautiful live, comment hashtag Tdtv. Real quick shout out to Imitation by Jarrell. Queen's been rocking out with me since the beginning. She's not going nowhere. Okay. All right. Just like I'm not going nowhere, she's not going anywhere. So, like I said, I'm super excited, y'all. We're going to jump right into our Hit It and Quit It because a lot has happened. And yeah, this is what we do. So guys, Hit It and Quit It are trending events in music, sports, political, celebrity, and local news. This is going to be a tough one for me, guys. This is definitely going to be a tough one for me, but let's get through it, okay? Okay, especially when we get to the sports section. Y'all already know how I feel about the sports section, so let's just get into it. In music news, defense lawyers and extensions floated the floated the possibility that rap superstar Drake might have actually been behind the 2018 slaying. Suspects Michael Boatwright, Trayvon Newsom, and Derek Williams are accused of carrying out the fatal shooting outside of a Florida motorcycle dealership, which was a robbery that turned into a cold-blooded killing. Triple X was seen withdrawing money from a bank on the bank surveillance camera before he was killed a few moments later. One of the co-defendants in the extension case reveals that he took his bag with $50K while others split the 45K of it. So there's a lot going on with this case. I don't know how true it is that Drake was behind it. That's definitely speculation until they have proof, some type of proof that this has that this is actually the case. It's good to not take things for face value so far. Just kind of wait until the evidence presents itself, and then we'll go from there. All right. I hope y'all can hear me okay. Let me go to my comments. Chiva LaFar says, welcome to Think Different TV. Always in the building. That's my bro. He's hashtagging Tdtv and throwing up our symbol. Yep, there you go. Think Different TV all day. All right, and let me put my banner up real quick. There we go. Isn't that cute, my little banner? All right, so back to this news. So Trey Songz and Atlantic Records and Kevin Liles sued for $425 million over the 2016 rape allegation, or sexual assault allegation. Neo and Crystal have finalized the divorce. You know, it is what it is at this time. You know, when people break up, hey, they break up. No need, you know, keep rehashing it over and over again. It is what it is. Yo Gotti steps in and denies Bay Area promoters' claims that Glorilla was paid to perform in Oakland during a club appearance, saying $30K to perform. You must have booked Little Glow, not Big Glow, because I don't know what she gonna do with $30K. As big as she is now, I see her as a rising star and performing at a club for $30K. First of all, they're gonna have to up that just for the simple fact that it's in Oakland and it's a little dangerous. Okay, that's probably about as much as she's probably got to pay the security to be there to protect her. So yeah, y'all definitely gotta up that amount. DJ Khaled celebrates Def Jam signing at new Miami Raising Cane's restaurant. The Grammys need to be checked about this. Bad Bunny is bigger than everybody right now, and you can't pay for a closed caption. Of course, this is being said by 50 Cent. 50 Cent was highly upset about this. He put it on Instagram. He was upset about it. He even put a picture up of Bad Bunny with the closed caption just saying speaking non-English because he was speaking Spanish. And instead of them translating it, they just simply said he was speaking non-English, which I'm like, that's disrespectful. I would think that's disrespectful too. If I was a Hispanic artist or any artist that wasn't speaking English and I was speaking in my native tongue, I would hope that the big event like the Grammys would be able to afford closed caption for the event, translate in my language to my peoples. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm a little upset about that too. Lady Gaga has a woman puke on her bare chest while she plays the drums. That's gross. Ew. What? Riri reveals Baby Bump #2 during her halftime performance, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later on. The halftime performance at the Super Bowl, as well as some Grammy stuff that I wanted to mention last week, but because we were pressed for time, I didn't. But I'm going to get into that in my musical discussion today. Celebrity news: Amber Rose, in a recent interview of Emily Ratajkowski's High Low podcast, revealed to her son, who is 9 years old, about her stripper past and the fact that she does OnlyFans and she does it so she can afford nice things for him. She also adds that he supports her. The conversation came up after one of his classmates told her son about her work. But let's be honest here. As a mother myself, there are some things that women have to do that aren't capable if they are not the typical 9 to 5. Because you can get a job anywhere. You can get a job at McDonald's. You can get a job where it is what it is. Some women choose to go the fast money route. You're definitely not gonna make no fast money working at no McDonald's. But you can make some money stripping, exotic dancing, doing other things. OnlyFans was a good way to make fast money, big money, without actually being with somebody else sexually, or you're showing yourself, but you're in the privacy of your own home, and you don't got to worry about creeps finding you, right? But here's the thing. Exposing your child to that life before they're old enough to understand. Now, you might think that they're old enough to understand it because you're able to talk to them and they say okay and that they understand, but sometimes kids really don't understand. And she's kind of getting him to accept this lifestyle, and say that, oh, a woman is able to do whatever she wants with her body and stuff like that. And that's true, but let's be real. Like, you're exposing them to adult situations way too quickly. Like, this kid gotta be a kid. It's just like Superhead. Y'all remember Superhead, Corinne Stephens? Her son knew all about her lifestyle too. And y'all can't tell me that it doesn't affect them in some type of way negatively. It's just too much. It's too much. It's too much of an overload. So, how do y'all feel about it? Drop it in the comments below. How do y'all feel about her revealing all of that? Cerise Castle is one of the journalists who has been focusing on bringing attention to the LASD or LAPD gang culture, founding and reporting on the activities of 18 different gangs. She's won awards in journalism for her bravery and work to unveil what's going on behind the veil. With over 9,000 deputies, it is the single largest sheriff's department in the U.S., and corruption has gone all the way to the top. Let's protect this young lady at all costs, y'all, because she's doing some work right now that can very well get her unalived. So protect her, okay? She's out here doing interviews and stuff like that. I believe she was on Breakfast Club, exposed, like saying, this is what I'm doing. And while I commend her for being very brave and, facing that head on, you have to realize she's doing this at the cost of her life. So protect that young lady. God, please watch over that young lady as she does the Lord's work. Speaking of the Lord, we have Tiffany Montgomery, who is a pastor, evangelist, something like that. She rebukes Christians for going to the Beyonce concerts. Listen, people gonna do what they want to do, okay? To say that you're rebuking them or you're trying to warn them or whatever like that, I think that's very corny. I think that at the end of the day, you should just strive to live your life right and not tell other people how to live their lives. That's where it be crossing the line with me with some Christians. There's church folk and there's Christians. There's church folk and there's Christians. Now, I talked about that before on the show, but there's definitely a difference, okay? And one thing that I truly cannot stand are people that are church folks perpetrating as Christians. You're sitting up there telling everybody else how to live their life and everything like that. And one of the things in the Bible is said, only God can judge. So how you gonna go and, how you gonna go and tell people what they need to be doing with their lives? Tell us something, it's the Christian thing to do, and this and third. Who are you to even say anything about somebody? It just irks my soul. So, but you won't irk my soul. You won't irk my soul. You won't irk my soul. Because I know there's a lot of people that is listening to that and they still paying like a good $1,500 for ticket said Tamar Braxton herself. So she's like, I love the Lord and I love my Beyonce tickets as well. Tamar crazy. Black China's mother. She claims the Illuminati is after her daughter and she no longer feels safe being around her daughter. She claims she feels marked for death. Anyway, moving on, because I don't want to get too deep into that, because y'all know I love me a good conspiracy theory. But yeah. Cousin of Emmett Till files lawsuit seeking the arrest of Carolyn Bryant Donham and or Donham, whatever that white lady name is, that said that Emmett Till blew a kiss at her or smooched at her or whatever. And Sheriff Ricky Banks demanded that they would serve the warrant for her role played in Emmett Till's death. Turns out there was an unserved warrant in 1955 that was discovered in the LaFleur courthouse last year. The Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch said in July there was no new evidence to try to pursue a criminal case, covering it up. Just a month later, a grand jury declined to indict Donham after hearing more than several hours of testimonies from investigators and witnesses. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? I'm not surprised at all. In sports news, here we go, y'all. The part I've been dreading. First thing, Brett Favre is suing Shannon Sharp and Pat McAfee, whatever, for defamatory allegations made over his involvement in a $77 million welfare fraud scheme. How you want? First of all, defamation. The defense to defamatory statements is truth. They was telling the truth, nigga. You did that. So how is it defamatory? Because somebody called you out on it? Come on, Al. Be for real. Be for real. Be for real. What's up, Ronnie? How are you? Let me throw that up there. Say, hey, LaShia. NBA finds Brooklyn Nets player Cam Thomas $49K for his no homo comment made on live TV during a post-game interview. Come on, are we really doing this? Is it really, like we used to just say that, just no homo, like we might say, man, I can't even think enough off the top of my head right now, but say something that seems like it's, you know, a little gay, and then we say no homo, you know, and it used to be all in good fun. Now you're getting fined, people getting fined for that. Y'all doing too much. Y'all doing way too much. Wasn't nobody even, and the crazy thing is, it don't even be nobody offended by it. They just want to find other ways of getting money out of these basketball players and these football players. So any way that they can get money out of them, they're gonna do it. And that includes finding them for really stupid stuff. The Phoenix Suns have acquired Kevin Durant through a trade with the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving gets traded to the Dallas Mavericks. Here's the Kansas City Chiefs are the 2023 Super Bowl champs. Let me stop being Joe. Let me be a good sport about this. The Kansas City Chiefs are the 2023 Super Bowl champs. Okay, my Eagles played a good game though. All right. They did well this season. They were first in the division. They beat the 49ers. They made it there, okay? And first of all, it's some people talking that their team didn't even make it to the Super Bowl. Some people talking their team didn't even make it to the playoffs, okay? Some people talking and their state don't even have a team, okay? So let's be real on this one. Let's be real on this one, okay? All right? Don't hate on my Eagles. Congratulate my Eagles. They made it that far, okay? And would I have liked them to be the 2023 Super Bowl champs? Absolutely. But I will say last night I slept like a baby because there wasn't no type of noise here. It was quiet in the city of Philadelphia. People were hurt though. People were hurt, and there was a lot of people that had a lot of money riding on their game, so they was super hurt because they was because the money part. But and there was one part of the game because I wasn't watching the actual game. I was watching the play-by-play on my phone because I could follow it like that because I'm somewhat of a football fan and know how the game of football works. So I'm watching it and everything, but I'm looking at the play-by-play. And at the end, when they were tied, I knew that the Kansas City Chiefs was going to run down the clock. I knew it. They had the ball. It was like they got the ball now. The game is tied. All they had to do is get close enough to either run a touchdown or kick a field goal. That's all they had to do. That's all they had to do. And I think it was pretty smart. And I will give it to Andy Reid for his coaching, his good coaching. You know, that play at the end where Patrick, what's his last name, Mahomes, that dude, I don't care, where he kept taking a knee until there was pretty much no time left. And then they kicked the field goal for 3 points and brought the score to 38-35 in the favor of Kansas City Chiefs. But get this, there was a prediction made. There was a prediction made that the Eagles was going to win 37-34. And guess what? Chiefs won 38-35. So it was off by 1 point on each side, and who was going to win? Coincidence? I think not. I think when that thing leaked, they had to do a switcheroo. Because everybody talk about how NFL is scripted and everything like the WWE. So that's all I got to say about that. Okay. Go Birds. Eagles. Okay. I don't care. Got out my system. In other news, 28-year-old Florida man, Virgilio Salgado, with cop killer tattoo, arrested for allegedly shooting an officer from his vehicle. Okay, tell me you shot a cop without telling me you shot a cop. A round struck a pursuing cop's car and disabled it at about 4 a.m., allowing Salgado to get away. Officers were able to identify him using body cam footage from the incident. He was arrested driving the same car from the incident. He was charged with assault on a law enforcement officer with a firearm and other charges. The family of 35-year-old Earl Morris Jr. is seeking justice after a call to local EMT professionals led to his untimely death. According to reports, EMTs were called after Moore began experiencing medical distress due to an alcohol detox. Earl's family and responding officers were in shock after watching Earl dragged by his arms and forcefully strapped to the stretcher incorrectly and neglected by the Life Star ambulance workers. 50-year-old Peter Cardigan and 40-year-old Peggy Finley are now being charged with his death. Autopsy revealed he suffered from suffocation after being strapped to the stretcher incorrectly. They both deny any wrongdoing, despite Finley admitting her fault to fellow EMTs. Welcome to Slapplebees. An older, cocky racist in his Sumter, South Carolina Applebee's felt like he could use the N-word with the hard R while in an argument with a black man inside of the restaurant. He thought he could make this move without any consequences, but it didn't work out as planned. He was slapped to the floor, as he should be. But I will caution my people, please. When people use the N-word, don't let it rile you up to the point where you have to use physical force. Words are words. Like they say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Learn to just walk away. Let them be ignorant, because you hearing the N-word is not going to move a judge. Okay? It's not going to move a judge to be like, oh, well then, yeah, you should have assaulted them, because that don't work. in this world, it don't work that way. So just kind of learn how to curb your emotions, walk away. Don't put your hands on them. They still not going to learn their lesson. And if anything, that's going to just perpetuate the stereotype that we are violent people, which we are not. Exactly. Here we go. This deeply distressed me. A 6-year-old repeatedly sexually assaulted by an older student on a school bus. A family in Houston, Texas is grappling with devastating trauma that could have been stopped or prevented if more care had been taken, and how the school buses were organized and monitored. Before she found out what happened, LaToya Stormine Monroe, which is the mother, had noticed her 6-year-old son had been acting differently, but it wasn't until he lost his backpack and they needed to reach out to the school to find out what happened that she finally learned the awful cause for the change in her child for months. He had been repeatedly sexually assaulted while on the school bus. And this is unfortunate. I'm really sad about this. I have a 7-year-old. I don't even know how to be about that one, because I have a 7-year-old, and when you start seeing changes in their behavior and them not want to go somewhere, them not want to be around certain people, and like, you got to take notice of that type of stuff. And that's why I make it a point that I am dropping my son off, picking him up, because I'm starting to not trust nobody. I don't trust nobody. Like I don't. And it really upsets me when parents let it go on for so long on the school bus. And this is and they let it go on for so long, unseen, not asking their child. And I'm wondering, like, was the child verbal? Was he able to tell the mom what was going on? Like, what all was happening? Like, why is this the case? You feel me? Why is this the case? So it's very upsetting. I don't like the fact that this has happened to this child, and I wish for that I hope that the child gets the help that he needs, because he might continue to be a happy child and play and everything like that, but still in the back of his mind, he's still grappling with that very trauma that he's been going through for months. This has been going for months. So that mom better than me, because I would have been, see, and then you don't want to end up in jail, because then your kid definitely don't have nobody. But somebody will be hurt, okay? Somebody will be hurt. The 51-year-old suspect, Pierre Naise Amand, is a bus driver who rammed a bus into a busy daycare. This is another thing that I didn't like. A busy daycare in Quebec in Canada, killing 2 children. He has been charged with first-degree murder. 6 children were injured, including some who became trapped under the vehicle in Laval near Montreal on Wednesday morning. He is believed to have ran his bus in the daycare, but his motive was unclear. He was employed by the transit system for 10 years. He was charged with first-degree murder, attempted murder, aggravated assault, and assault with a weapon or causing bodily harm. A pedophile killed himself in a courtroom by drinking sodium nitrate. Good for him. A Florida man arrested for hanging on traffic light and pooping on cars passing underneath. Yes, he was hanging on the street light and he was pooping on cars. That's gross. I would be pissed. All right. And weird choice of words. You know, I would be pissed that he's pooping on cars. Florida man Lance Kurtz, who allegedly broke into a gas station and identified after he left behind his debit card. He was charged with armed burglary or dwelling structure and petty theft. He was later released after posting a $10,000 bond. Olaplex sued for more than 75K in damages after consumers alleged the hair products cause baldness and blisters. Do not use Olaplex. That's Olplex. Do not use it. It will cause baldness and blisters. An art teacher in Ashley Park in Charlotte, North Carolina, was suspended for grabbing and cursing a student, 11-year-old Caden Franklin, who was left bruised. She accused Caden of cursing her and threatening to hit a girl in his class. The claim hasn't been confirmed, but the actions she took were out of line. She grabbed him, forced him into the seat. Oh my gosh, this is somebody else that would not be breathing. And began yelling. And to make things worse, she said, "This is what you are taught at home," asking questions to where he learned this behavior from. "Do the men in your family hit women, or does his dad beat his mom?" As Caden responded, she yelled for him to shut his mouth. Whew. Didn't like that story either. France to introduce the first porn passports to verify age on adult websites. 40-year-old man Bradley Jermaine Baker took control of a blue and white ambulance where witnesses claimed he was driving erratically with the headlights off. Police said Baker was spotted performing burnouts in the emergency vehicle. He led officers on a pursuit before attempting to flee on foot naked. What in the world? He was charged with driving under the influence of drugs, public indecency, driving with a suspended license, probation violation, theft by taking and fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer for a felony offense. See, the actions would make me think it was a white person, but the name says it was a black person. Weird. It's weird. It's them drugs. Political. A new proposed bill would require airlines to pay passengers at least $1,350 if they get bumped from an oversold flight. Florida Republicans are pushing a gun bill that would allow people to carry concealed weapons without a permit and no training. Local news, the city of Philadelphia is quiet after the Eagles in the Super Bowl. There hasn't really been anything. I mean, there's been a little bit of crime, but I mean, we're working on it. We're working on it. I'm just waiting for some good news to share with you guys locally, because I'm from Philly and I don't like always putting out bad news, because Philly is not really a bad place. If it was really terrible, I wouldn't live here. But you know, it's just hard sometimes when I go to look for something to share with y'all from, you know, what's going on in Philly, and it's always something negative. So I'm waiting for the positive news to roll in. Saturday and Sunday, March 4th and 5th, the Soul to Soul tour is in AC. Kim Lettucey and special guest music Soul Child, Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. www.raphooks.com. Rap Hooks is a platform created by Uncle Marvin Music on IG. It's where you can take courses on creating hits, branding, streaming, social media marketing, music marketing, learning how to monetize your platforms, landing placements and major playlisting, collaborating with any artist, producer, or engineer 24/7 worldwide, and showcasing your talents to the world. Follow him and tell him Shiva Lafire sent you, and get started today on taking your music career to the next level. Rap Hooks works with us, not for us. And that is our Hit It and Quit It, guys. Let me get to it. All right, so that was our Hit It and Quit It for today. Listen, make sure y'all go ahead and hit the notification bell, subscribe, all those good things to the channel. Make sure y'all share the live. We're about to jump into our hot topic. Our hot topic is super hot, and it's just a question that I have for the men. So here we go.
I'm coming in hot.
So our hot topic tonight: men, selective on who you want to marry, but not on who you want to carry. Thoughts. And what I mean by that is, a lot of men are selective on who they marry, but they're not as selective on who carries their children. Now, is that all men? No. because there are men out there that are very selective on both fronts. They care about who carries their children and they care about who they walk down the aisle with. But what I'm seeing is this thing where men don't mind having a baby with somebody, but as soon as you talk about marriage, they like, ooh, no, that's a too much commitment. And I'm just wondering, right? Aren't kids commitments too? I mean, I battle with this because even when I'm watching Judge Judy, which is one of my favorite shows, and People's Court, which is also one of my favorite shows, and they have men on there that's just like, yeah, she wants we have 3 kids, and then Judge Judy was like, oh, you had 3 kids, well, when are y'all gonna get married? And they're like, oh, well, that's we're not ready for that yet. But you ready to lay down and have a baby? Make it make sense. You can't, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand how people can make babies, but they don't want to walk down the aisle. And at the same time, it's like they'll be like, "Oh, I got a crazy baby mama." Is it just so y'all can have a story to tell? Because I just find it very counterproductive to have a child with somebody that you don't get along with, that you don't want to be with. But then you talk about I don't want to be put on child support. I don't want, but you having children with someone you don't even like or want to be with. Well, what you think she's gonna do? If the child ends up being in her custody, you're gonna have to pay child support. So it's just like, come on now. Don't y'all realize, like, when y'all get put on child support, if you don't pay child support, you can go to jail? Like, that is definitely in the cards. You can go to jail for not paying child support, but you can't go to jail for not paying spousal support. Getting divorced is not, let's look at it like this. All right. Marriage is a commitment and a contract. Children are a commitment. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. The only way it's a contract is if the father signs the birth certificate. So I can get how men probably like, oh, children are assets, so wives are liable. No, I don't want to get to that point yet, because that's not what I'm trying to make the point right now. The point right now is that I don't necessarily have to be there when it comes to the child, or I don't necessarily have to be in the picture with the mom. But with marriages, you have to make it work. You done took a vow before God and all of this stuff, and you went through the whole fanfare of having a wedding and everything like that. So now you gotta see it through, my boy. Well, shouldn't they have the same attitude about kids? That's what I find so interesting. Oh, yeah, having a kid is that's that ain't nothing, but marrying, oh my gosh, getting married, that's really hard to do. But you're out of the situation. It's so much easier if you're just married versus if you have children. If you have children and you leave, then you're a deadbeat dad. You're this, you're that. You're an awful person, like, because you created life and then you just say, oh, I don't want to be in a child's life, and then you're looked at as a horrible person. If you get married with somebody and y'all don't have any kids, y'all just get married and y'all get divorced, nobody necessarily looking at you as you're an awful person. Maybe your mate, your spouse that you divorced, they might be like, you're an awful person, but that's just one person. You get what I'm saying? Maybe their family, but then by that time you don't even care, because you're like, I'm not with her no more and I don't really care what her family thinks. Even if you cheated and that's the reason why y'all broke up and everything like that, men cheating on their wives, it happens. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's right, But I'm just saying it happens. And are people going to be giving you the side eye? Yeah, some people might give you the side eye. Oh my gosh, how could you cheat on your wife? You're such an awful person. But you won't care. But you bringing a child into the world, you're not taking care of them. Oh, major dog, major deadbeat dad. Like, y'all don't care about the stigma that's involved with that. Let me look at some of these videos, because I pulled up some stuff and I was just like, you know, why? What's the reasons why some men might want to have babies, but they don't want to get married? It is just perplexing to me.
10 reasons why men don't want to be married but have babies. Number one, men would rather have a baby out of wedlock and hide from paying child support. Number two, men would rather have a baby but not a wife, because she said that she might change and get divorced. Number three, men would rather believe everything but not the word of God. Number four, men would rather do everything, including one night stand, but they will not walk down the aisle and say, I do. Number five, men would rather treat her good for her cookies, but when it's time to come to the well, you be my wife, they change the subject and walk out the door. 6, men rather be loud to everything, but whispers to not right now, but next year I'll give you an answer of this marriage date situation. 7, men wish for millions, but when it comes to marriage, they have no commitment, no comment or commitments. Number 8, men rather be wealthy, a millionaire, but being married, they say they rather go golfing all day long. 9, I'm talking about 10 reasons why a man won't be married but have babies in different states. I'm talking about men, man. Number 9, it's amazing a man would rather have a degree in doctrine and wisdom, but marriage, he say women change too much, and when she have her way, she want a divorce immediately. Now, men, get married and stop having these babies out of wedlock and can't take care of them. My friend, I'm in a situation right now that men is hard to find when they are fathers, because they get all these women pregnant and hiding from their responsibility. Number 10, men looking for a bottle meaner to make wishes than having a wife at his side. This not no genie. Genie don't give you 3 wishes. It's your desire.
I just was like, okay, so he giving all these reasons and everything, and I was just like, wow, like men view marriage and having kids totally different. Is this all men? No. I'm gonna say some men view them totally separate from each other. And it might be all men that do, but some view marriage negatively and having children as a positive. Well, what are some reasons why men don't want to get married? Okay, so number 1, the perception of loss of freedom. All right, one of the men's biggest fears about marriage, they may suffer a loss of freedom. They dread of losing one's ability to fully make decisions for all aspects of their life. Can be why some men never marry. Some men might be afraid to forsake the freedom to indulge in their favorite hobbies or activities as they like. Freedom to hang around and watch Netflix all weekend long without someone compelling them to get up off the couch. Do all men do that? No, but I think they was just using it as an example. Marriage might be seen as a ball and chain, weighing them down. These men are not seeing the emotional and physical advantages of being in a union with someone they truly love. They only see the loss of their liberty. So single men fearing the loss of freedom tops the reasons why men don't marry and why they propagate the idea that it's good for a man not to marry. Here's another one. Fears about a potential divorce. Y'all remember on Raw? Was it Raw? Eddie Murphy's Raw, not Wrestling Raw, but Eddie Murphy's Raw, where he was talking about how on the cover of a magazine you had Johnny Carson's wife, like, and Johnny Carson was like, right? And it was because she took half of his money. And that's not always the case. Sometimes men get married, like that's why they have something called a prenuptial agreement, right? Everybody comes in a marriage and leaves the marriage with what they brought into the marriage, right? Now there are exceptions to the prenup. If you sign a prenup when you get married, and let's say y'all start a business together, y'all can form another contract, a written agreement outside of the prenup to say, listen, when we split, half of the money goes to me, half of the money goes to you in this business, or whatever you want to say. But there are a whole lot of men out there who have seen the emotional and economic damage divorce brings to the family unit. Men not marrying could be because they presume that a divorce is imminent. This fear might make them overlook the benefits of being married. Single men who avoid marriage may have grown up in a broken home, or they have been there, done that, and don't want to ever find themselves in such a vulnerable position again. They think that history will repeat itself, so it is better not to create a new history with a new woman. The problem is with this mindset is that all love stories are different. Just because you have lived through one divorce does not foretell that you'll have another one. And that's crazy. So there are plenty of divorced men out there who have gone on to have successful second marriages. But a lot of the times men ward off of marriage because in the first place because of the fear of divorce. So you're already looking for the ending before you even begin. Here's another thing, unwilling to make sacrifices. Some men don't marry because they love their me-centered lifestyle. Marriage does require sacrifice. It requires faithfulness and accounting of your time when you're not with your spouse, and an emotional investment. And some men only see the positive in this. Men staying single can often be attributed to their lack of willingness to make adjustments to accommodate a person in their life. Some men are not marrying because they might believe that men shouldn't get married, as they will have to give up material and non-material things in their lives. 4, dating apps work out great. And indeed, depending on the app used, men can swipe, chat, and hook up in a matter of hours. For a man who has no interest in commitment, this is the perfect tool for him to find an endless supply of sexual satisfaction and non-committal engagement. And number 5, need for awareness about the benefits of marriage. For men not marrying, a little knowledge about the emotional, sexual, and financial benefits of getting married will help break the illusion. So by educating yourself more on the benefits, you will more likely want to get married. It's a personal choice. It's a very, it is commitment. It is something that requires thought, all right? And I'm not denying that, but to think that it requires less thought than that of having children is just mind-boggling. If anything, it should go hand in hand. If anything, it should be just as important to have that discussion about marriage as it is about having children. Any man that's sitting there talking about something, I want to have a baby with you, put a baby in you, all this stuff, and they're not talking about putting a ring on your finger, that's red flags. That's red flags. And I actually watched, shout out to Steven Speaks. He's on YouTube. He has a channel on YouTube. And he was talking about trap babies and how this is something that happens. Men definitely getting women knocked up and not marrying them, not being committed to them because they always want to be able to say later on, oh, we didn't have nothing serious. We didn't have nothing serious. We didn't have nothing serious. But you getting them knocked up for just so you can have the convenience of being able to go back to them and borrow money or use their car or stay in their house, freeload, you know, and there's men out there like that have trap babies. Actually, Steven, I wanted to use his clip on my show, but I didn't want to run into any copyrights. But it's funny because I went on TikTok and I found someone that was talking about pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to play that clip now.
Things men will never tell women, but are very obvious. Yes, a man is crazy enough to get you pregnant all for the sake of keeping you stagnant or trapping you. A lot of women consistently ask me this question all the time, and my answer is, fuck yes, they are crazy enough to do it. Some of them, though. A lot of these men ain't even allergic to latex. They just want the satisfaction of knowing that they touched your inside. They've been absolutely lying to y'all for years just to feel the real thing. Cause misery likes company, and a man like this will create the silliest goals at the expense of you. Is he crazy enough to get me pregnant and not give a fuck about me? Yes. And the crazy sad part of fucking with a guy like this is that you were just the unlucky one. Because usually men like this are the ones that get turned down a lot and only get lucky on rare occasions. So what do? They tend to take advantage of that opportunity. They realize some of y'all were easy targets to shed their misery off onto. They usually scare or intimidate most women off because of the lack of self-control that they have. And whenever woman becomes an option that chooses to stay, they make their life a living hell. And on that occasion, they're playing process of elimination and know that which woman is the most patient. If they know that you're a woman who's caring with a big heart and gullible enough, they also know how to manipulate and then weasel their way out of getting stuff from you without actually giving a fuck about the kid that they helped create. A man like this will be more than willing to get you pregnant just to keep you stagnant just so he can have the whole kitty cat to himself. Like, I know you got dreams and aspiration, love, but to him it's fuck your dreams. Sit around that phone until I call you to get what I want from you. That's usually the thought process going through his mind when he's in the middle of doing it. I know, right? Sinister. Now you're probably wondering, that can't be the reason. You're probably looking for a whole other layer to this whole scheme. But that's what got you here in the first place. Stop looking for another layer with him. There is no other layer. Stop looking for one and stop giving the nigga the benefit of the doubt. Honestly, sticking around trying to see it through is only going to make you look silly. Like, stop manifesting seeing something that other men know for a fact isn't there. Because this man is very much the opposite of mysterious, so he shouldn't be looked at as so. And we see that shit in like the first 5 minutes of you knowing him. That you're just a piece of meat to him, and he's lonely enough and narcissistic enough to trap you. And because he has time, remember, as people always have an immense amount of time on their hands. And time is the most valuable thing that a can take from you. Fuck money, fuck dinner, fuck bed romantics. Time is more valuable than all shit combined because all shit can get replaced. Also have to understand that a lot of these men are easily amused too. So with that being said, getting you knocked up and having you emotionally manipulated and devoted to him isn't a hard thing for him to do. Because they only try that shit on that they know they can manipulate. Because they eliminate their whole roster in the beginning and just keep a couple after. It's easy to make anybody love blind and fall for you. They just sell you a dream, but of course you're not obligated to buy it. But surely it's easy to get you to buy if he knows that you're gullible enough to buy it. This is the epitome of misery loves company. Misery is cuddling with company right now.
So pretty much everything that he said it very much more colorful than Steven did, but it's the same type of concept. A man having babies with multiple women just to keep them, or having multiple babies with one woman just to keep that woman stagnant. It's like, I could keep you, because let's be honest, when a woman have a child with someone, provided that she really cares about this man, it's hard for her to be mean to that man or say no to that man, right? And he said that the woman is gullible, but I think also, like he said, some men sell a dream, and some women are willing to buy into that dream. Some men might think that they're ready for fatherhood and want to be with the person that could be when they was young, and then they get older and be like, I don't want to be with this person anymore. But it's like, you can't just pick up and just leave. Like, you got a whole baby. You know what I'm saying? As I was listening to that, and I was also listening to Steven Speaks, it made a lot of sense, that because I know some men that do have multiple children, and a lot of the time, and it's not with none of them, not with none of the moms, you know, and not looking to get married to none of the moms, not looking to have a relationship with none of the moms in that way, like where he feels like he has to be totally committed. It's so funny though, because it could be a man that, like, he had all these bunch of kids when and it's also an age thing, so I'm going to get to that soon. But it's funny because it'd be like a man that had all these kids by all these different baby moms, and then they meet this woman, and then they said, I'm going to settle down with you, but they ain't got no kids with her, no nothing. And that brings me to my next point. It's like some men, they don't get married to the woman that been down with them for years and years and years. They get married to the woman who just happens to be around when they're ready to settle down. And it don't necessarily have to be the woman that they've been with for their whole life. Perfect case in point. Peter Guns. Let's talk about it. Peter Guns. He had multiple kids. When I say multiple kids, right? And everybody, just because y'all know about Tara and Amina, don't mean that they was the only two players on the field. He had plenty of players in the field, right? It was a slap in the face of Tara, because Tara was like, I have two of his sons, and we've been together for, I think they was together for like 17 years or 13 years or something like that. And but also remember, how you get them is how you keep them sometimes, or how you lose them. How you get them is how you lose them sometimes. So he stepped out with Tyre on somebody else he was with, and so she thought he gonna treat me differently. They was on and off for 13 years, honey. And then he turned around and him and Tyre break up, because Tyre like, I can't do it anymore. And he go mess with Amina, and then he get married to Amina, but then start treating Amina like the side chick. That was weird. But it was like, at that time he was ready to settle down. But also another part of that was Amina was smart about her kitty cat too. She was like, listen, I'm not about to give you me until I'm married. And maybe he took advantage of that and was like, okay, we can get married, because he wanted to get the kitty cat. But she still got that ring though. She still got that ring though. It's like, I want to have a whole other show about women and accountability, and you just knowing the signs, and not just falling into a man's trap when he says he wants to get married and this and the third, and he selling you a dream and this and the third, and you got to be very selective on who you give your kitty cat to. I could do all of that, but I really want to know why men think that having a child is not a commitment, but getting married is. Why is there such a disconnect? Now, allow me to play devil's advocate for a moment. Some men don't have to be there. The little phrase, mama's baby, daddy's maybe. He can sit there and be like, that ain't my child. He can deny paternity all day long. A woman can't, because baby came out of their hoo-ha. So they can't deny the paternity of their child because baby came out. But a dad can damn sure say, this is not my child, play dumb, I ain't even mess with her, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. The whole song and dance, prolong things, not say on the birth certificate, so he's not legally responsible for the child. He could claim the child and still not sign the birth certificate and not be legally responsible for the child. So there's no way that the mom can even come for him for child support, anything like that. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Now, in some states, you can go after somebody for child support. You just name their name, they can go after them for child support. But the smoking gun is definitely if they sign the birth certificate, right? So a lot of dudes be like, well, I don't gotta sign the birth certificate because I don't know if the baby mine or this and that, and it could definitely be theirs. They just play dumb. Now, when you get married, this is like the man actually has the choice of who he wants to get married to. And I think that's what really gets the whole thing, makes the whole situation crazy. Because women can control, you know, having kids, and the men can control getting married. And actually, I think that's my topic next week, so I don't want to get too much into it. But definitely that power in knowing the man has the choice to choose who they want to marry, they're like, okay, well, let me be more selective, because because a lot of men, they do value marriage and do want it to last the long run. So they want to be able to get married to somebody and not get a divorce after, because first of all, they're scared of divorce, and they definitely want to walk in the aisle with somebody they really do care about. So I admire the fact that men are selective on who they marry, but also y'all gotta be selective on who y'all choose to carry y'all children, because some of y'all just be laying down with females, not protecting yourselves, getting them knocked up, then want to play dumb about the whole, is this my baby or not? And then next thing you know, this girl could be crazy, she not be all there, she be unhinged, and y'all got a whole baby body. And it boggles my mind. Now, having a child, yeah, you could virtually do that. No money, no funds, no nothing. Like you can, yeah, the whole thing with pre-ejaculate, like you could not even fully bust a nut and have a child. You get what I'm saying? So the easiness in it, you know, and men are very sexual. They're very sexual, you know. Women are emotional, men are very physical, right? So men like they might like having sex. So if a baby ends up being a product of it, they like, well, I just was sowing my royal oats. I was just spreading my seed. Nick Cannon just did a whole thing where he was spoofing on Christian Mingle, talking about like doing like he was pretending like he was part of the Christian Mingle website or whatever, and he was talking about all this different stuff, and then he mentioned, oh yeah, have sex. I love Jesus ain't I love vaginas, and when they asked about marriage, he was like, he kind of like blinked on that question, and he's just having a whole bunch of kids. The only person he got married to was Mariah, from what I understand. Yeah. And some men like spreading their seed because they like leaving a large legacy behind. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. So men, selective on who you want to marry, but not as selective on who you want to carry your child. Not saying it's all of you guys, but there are a lot of men out there that don't care who they get knocked up. They just spreading their seeds. Some men, they do it for just because they want to have a whole bunch of kids. Some men truly like having a whole bunch of kids and said, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna take care of my kids, and like Nick Cannon. And then there's some men that have trap babies because they want to keep the woman that they want to keep, the only way they feel like they can keep the woman in their life is by knocking them up. Because it's something about having a child, and I'm not gonna lie, like it's an emotional tie. It's an emotional tie to that person for the rest of your life. Not until the kid is 18 years old, not until the kid is 25. For the rest of your life, you're gonna have an emotional tie to this person because you had a child with them. So it's a lot. It's a lot. But apparently men just see it as, they're just like, oh well, I'm not gonna get married, and I'm gonna just have a whole bunch of babies, and I don't necessarily have to be there. You know, that's why they don't see it as a commitment. But it's just weird to me. I don't know. Y'all leave y'all comments and everything. Let me know what y'all think about that, because I just find it very odd. I don't understand how that works out in their mind, how they think that getting married is a commitment, but having a child is not a commitment. Like, you don't care about the child enough to feel like you need to be there, and you need to, they're like, oh well, I don't have to be with the mom, but I could be there for my child, and this and third. And it's like, why are you having children with women that you don't want to be with? And then sometimes it don't even be because it's a trap baby, because maybe that woman don't have nothing that they want. They just want to have a baby by. It's truly, truly weird to me. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. All right. But that was tonight's hot topic. I hope y'all learned something tonight. If y'all didn't, I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask that question because it just was very perplexing to me. And that was my hot topic for tonight.
I'm coming in hot.
Listen, Think Different TV is sponsored by Euphoria Water. Euphoria Water is the cleanest, healthiest water in Philly. Alkaline water with minerals, no chemicals, no additives. It is good and good for you. If you're going to hydrate the right way. Get your Euphoria Water today. You can find Euphoria Water on IG under Euphoria Water. That's UPHORIAWATER. And if you live in the Philadelphia area, you can call Captain at 267-707-8279 and have Euphoria Water delivered to your home. And that is our sponsor. Listen, guys, we're going to jump into this next topic. We're going to pivot a little bit to this musical discussion because there was a lot that happened last night. Other than the Super Bowl, of course, we had the Super Bowl halftime, but then also the Grammys. We had Beyonce, who didn't win Album of the Year. And this is what was, I don't want to say quoted, but pretty much anonymous Grammy voters reportedly said Beyonce wins so often that they decided to vote for someone else, seemingly confirming the statement Jay-Z made ahead of his wife's Album of the Year loss, saying it's a marketing thing. So here's my thing. Why are people getting penalized because they win too much? And this is not something that I haven't heard before, because there's a story about Christina Aguilera that I'm going to share after I sip some tea made from Euphoria Water out of my Think Different TV stainless steel travel mug. All right. So Christina Aguilera, way back in the day, so she used to participate in singing competitions. And after a while, parents felt like she shouldn't participate because she was always winning them. Now, this is how I feel like the slippery slope of participation trophies started happening, because this is why I feel like this how it started. Because first of all, instead of encouraging your child to be better or to work harder at their craft, you dim someone else's light. And I think that's unfair. You get what I'm saying? So in this scenario, it's kind of like the same thing. Beyonce is never going to dim her light for anyone. She's Beyonce. She's always going to do the best of her ability. She's also a Virgo. So perfection is like up here with her. You get what I'm saying? So she's definitely going to strive to be perfect in everything that she does. And if it's not perfect, it's damn near perfect. Now, for you to not reward her for her hard work simply because she's won too much, well, let's look at why she's won. She's won all of these Grammys because she's great at what she does. So instead of sending out a message to other people to be like, hey, if you're tired of her winning so much, y'all need to step y'all game up and knock her down a few pegs. No, instead of y'all saying, well, let's just pick somebody else to win album of the year. And let me just look that up real quick because I don't even know who won album of the year, and I'm terrible. I'm terrible for this. Grammy album of the year. Who won that? I'm going to find it for you guys. And while I do that, I'm going to jump to the comment. We got Carl on. He said, good evening. Good evening, Carl. How are you? Shout out to Facebook. Facebook is up and running. So I see you up here tuning in. See how I got my Valentine's Day theme going on. It's coming up. It's coming up. And let's see. All right. So let's see who won album of the year. Why don't they just say it? Oh my gosh, they irk my nerves. Who won album of the year 2023? Oh, Harry Styles. Harry Styles won album of the year. Oh yeah, I did say that last week. Harry Styles did win. He won album of the year for Harry's House. Okay, so Harry Styles has had a hit from what I know of off this album, and I think it's As It Was. I think that's the song that's off his album. Yeah, I definitely do believe that Beyonce should have won because it I don't know, it's just like Beyonce's album was really really good. And it made traction before it even was officially released, right? Because people have been anticipating it for a long time, and it did not disappoint. But they pretty much said, oh well, we're gonna give it to Harry because and it's funny because I think the other year, the year that Taylor Swift won, I don't think that was the Grammys though. That was another award show. It's so many of them. It's hard to keep track of which one was which. But we cannot deny the talent that Beyonce has, and I really find it annoying when people are telling other people that they can't win because they won too much. It is pretty much telling people, oh well, it's good, but we gotta let you have a seat. Forget all the work that you put into your album. Forget everything. Forget all the marketing that you did. Forget all of it. Like, we don't care. And I think that's so crazy. That is so crazy. How could you tell somebody, oh well, you won too much, so we're just not going to give you any type of accolades or anything like that. That freaking sucks. So Grammys, y'all suck for that. Now, I just wanted to get that out of the way, get that out of my system, because I really want to go into this halftime performance because it's fresh in my mind. Happened yesterday. And I watched it again today because you watch it the first time as it's happening, and you get all the feels and everything like that. And then the second time around, someone like me has to watch it the second time around to actually analyze it and see all of the stuff that happened during the performance. So, like I said earlier in the show, Riri revealed her baby bump during the performance. I think she is the first person ever to perform for the Super Bowl pregnant. So I think that one thing puts her up there when it comes to this, because she could have just been like, oh, I can't do it, I'm pregnant, this and the third, blah blah blah. She literally just had a baby, and now ASAP Rocky was like, I'm getting her knocked up again. He didn't waste no time. Like, soon as they found out she was in the clear of them 6 weeks, they was back in the bedroom. Okay. So they ain't waste no time. They probably ain't even wait the 6 weeks. They probably was back in the bed like 3 weeks later, like, baby's okay, put her in the crib, and we gonna go in the room, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't mad at them. Go ahead, do y'all. Like, be beautiful. Let's I'm waiting. Did they get married yet? Okay, that ain't none of my business. That ain't none of my business. I would hate for all this to be happening, but I think they are married. I don't know. Ain't my business. So anyway, so they showed off the baby bump, and everybody said she was suspended from, suspended in the air. I'm not even gonna lie. The first time it was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. The second time I was watching it, I was like holding my breath. I don't know why, but my mommy genes kicked in, and I was just like, oh my gosh, she really is suspended in the air, on this platform. It was beautiful. I love the set. I love the choice of clothing. She did wear red. It was like a going theme. The Grammys was red. She was wearing red. They talk about all the different stuff. She even put up I think she put up the diamonds. She said diamonds in the sky, but we all know. So she did that. She did that at the end of Diamonds. She did 12 songs in her 13-minute long set, which actually had me realize, like, damn, Rihanna did do a lot of music, because it's a lot of songs she did. And the stuff she was doing was pretty much off her last 2 albums, or like it was a mixture. But I'm gonna go through the songs that she did. She did 12 songs. She did Bitch Better Have My Money, Where Have You Been, Only Girl, We Found Love, Rude Boy, Work, Wild Thoughts, Pour It Up, All of the Lights, Run This Town, Umbrella, and Diamonds. And I knew she was going to end with Diamonds. For some reason, I felt like she was going to end with Diamonds. Because when I didn't hear it throughout the set, I was like, I was like, she didn't do Diamonds yet. But then she did it at the very end. And I think it was a good way to end off the set. My favorite part, and it may seem odd to y'all, but when she was doing Wild Thoughts and they kind of like all did that turn to the side, y'all watch it again. But when they all did it, it was clean. It was clean. And I can appreciate some good, clean movements. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of people got on the choreography. They said that the dancers didn't really do much choreography. They weren't really like dancing. And I'm like this. I think they kept it light for the simple fact that she was pregnant and she couldn't really move a lot herself. So to really let her captivate the audience and dance and throw a little movement in there. They had to make sure that the dancers weren't doing too much either. Kind of let her shine. See, what y'all gotta realize is that they're not the stars. She's the star, right? So she has to be given the chance to shine bright like a diamond, right? You see how I did that? So if they're giving these crazy step moves and everything like that, and she can't do them because she's pregnant, it makes her look like a lazy artist, which they don't want to make her look like a lazy artist. And y'all see how the conversation is about how the dancers are lazy, right? How they weren't dancing a whole lot or wasn't, and I think the goal was to get people not saying that she was a lazy artist. And why is my hair in my eye like this? Wow. Okay, there we go. They didn't want her to be talked about and said that she's a lazy artist. So what they did was they masked it by having the dancers do choreography that wasn't extra crazy to allow her to shine. Also, I think it was a good way for her to kind of get the breaths in to sing, because when you're pregnant, that's a totally different type of breathing that you got to do to get the notes out possible. And she was still moving, y'all. She was still dancing a little bit. So, and then she got to go from platform to platform. She got to walk. She got to take her time getting to each platform and do what she's doing. So I think it was good how they did it. And also, another thing that I liked, when she was walking through and she was about to do when they did a close-up on her and she was walking through and like the dancers were on their heads and they had the like they was on their heads. I liked that because they remained still until she got to her mark, and then they got up and did what they was doing. But I think everything was pulled off flawlessly. I think they made use of all the space, because if y'all notice, they had dancers all over the field. I'm Young P. I'm not even going to dignify that with response. You can kiss my ass. But yeah, I think that they really covered the entire field, and that was a feat in itself, because the field is big, okay, and that was a lot of dancers, and it had to be like a good 100 dancers. And then they was also on the people that was on suspended platforms as well. And you just hope that everything goes well with it. There was a lot of people that was hoping for guest appearances and everything like that. But I think without guest appearances, without any features, anything like that, she got a chance to showcase who she is as an artist. And she came a long way. All right. She came a long way from being an artist that not a lot of people had faith in. She's not the best singer. She's not like a Beyonce, but there's something about her that's unapologetic, and something about her so raw and real that a lot of people can get on board with her as an artist. And I think that the Super Bowl really, really did a good job on showcasing that. And in 13 minutes, for her to go through 12 songs, and not no small little clips either. They had to be like a minute each, a minute and some change each. So you like a good 30 seconds into a song, you know the song. You pretty much pick the song. I think a verse is about 30 to 45 seconds. You get what I'm saying? And then even have like the hook. And another thing about Rihanna's music is that it's not complicated. You get what I'm saying? She can definitely do a small snippet of her song, and you get some type of feels from it. I think on Bitch Better Have My Money, she only did like Bitch Better Have My Money. I think that's all she did. I think she did do a verse, but yeah, she did do a verse. But again, she ran to them songs so fast, but you still got a chance to get the feels of it. And I think the second time around, I was able to really see her as an artist, and she enjoyed being up there, and she was free. She was free. And that's all you can ask for sometimes when people go out here and they perform, is that they enjoy what they're doing and that they're free on stage and they don't feel stifled as an artist. I think, you know, when it comes to performances like Beyonce and everything is so militant because Beyonce has a certain style when she gets on stage. You know, Michael Jackson had a certain style when he got on stage. Justin Timberlake was a certain way. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Mary J. Blige and Eminem and 50 Cent last year, they was, you know, it was 5 of them, and they all shared the space, and I think that was a good 13-15 minutes, right? So that means like each person had like a good 3 minutes, right? So everybody approaches the stage differently, and I think Rihanna's approach to the stage is just to have fun and be carefree in the moment. And I think when she was singing "We Found Love," she really, I felt like she really felt that song, because it was kind of like, it didn't, knowing her love for A$AP Rocky is just like, it made it even better. You get what I'm saying? Because you know she's in a good place right now. In the words, we found love in a hopeless place. Like in the industry, it is crazy. Like everybody is trying to come at you on some weird stuff. Some people, very few people are genuine, and I think she found her person. You get what I'm saying? So, and that's a beautiful thing. So that's all I wanted to say about Beyonce, the Grammys, and Rihanna with the halftime performance. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all thought about the halftime performance. If you liked it, loved it, didn't like it so much, thought she could have did more. You know, I think she did as much as she could do with her being pregnant, right? And that's just, because if she wasn't pregnant, you know, she would have been up there whining and winding and twerking and doing all. Y'all know she would have been up there. She would have been killing it. You get what I'm saying? And she, not saying she didn't kill it, but it was just a different way of killing it, because she could only do so much, right? So that's pretty much it. And we're gonna jump into the next part of the show, which is my financial discussion. So I have a question, y'all. Would you or do you trust your spouse to be solely responsible for your finances? Whew, that is a loaded question, isn't it? What made me think of this? What made me think of this question was, I was actually watching a show, and also, okay, I don't know if y'all ever saw this, but it's a old movie, and it had Halle Berry in it, and she was playing I can't ever remember the name of this title character, but it started with an R, right? And so I think it's R. It was like, or is it Queen or something like that? I don't know. But anyway, so the reason why I bring that up is because I was telling the story of Alex Haley's grandmother's side, or great grandmother's side, I think it was grandmother's side of the family, and slavery and all these different things. And it's this one part where Halle Berry, she wanted so desperately to have the love of her father, but her father was the slave owner's son, and he fell in love with her mom, and her mom was a slave, and they grew up together or whatever. The slave owner's son and the slave, they grew up together. So it's kind of like they played together and everything like that. And the slave owner at the time, he loved his slave. He wasn't. It is weird saying that, I know, but I mean, he wasn't like the slave owners that was like beating their slaves and stuff like that. Still wasn't the greatest thing, but the thing about it was that when his dad passed, the plantation was passed down to him, but he had already had sex with the slave, and they had a baby, and the name of the baby was Queen, I believe. I think that was her name. And the wife of Queen's father was a white woman. And when he went off the war, the wife she had to stay behind to tend to the plantation, but she didn't have like the know-how to handle anything. She didn't have the know-how to handle finances or anything. She was just in the dark with everything, right? And what I've noticed that a lot of women back then, when they let their men handle all their finances when the men died, because they used to always think like, oh, well, finances is not for the woman to worry about, because the man works and brings home the money, and all the woman's supposed to do is just tend to the household and this, that, and third. So they didn't discuss the finances with the wife. So when the only thing that they told them is like, here's the money that's left. When I die, this is where my money is. That's pretty much it. But they didn't know how to balance a checkbook. They didn't know how to pay the rent. They didn't know who to go to do anything. So that's why largely a lot of the times back then, women used to be taken advantage of, because they didn't know the first thing about finances or how to do anything. Now we live in a society where women know how to take care of their finances. They're going out and making their own money. So you're hard pressed to find a woman that don't know what's going on financially in the household. It's also hard pressed to find a woman who would let their spouse be in total control of the finances, to be solely responsible for finances. And it's funny because a lot of men I'm seeing hand the reins over to the woman and say, well, women are more, they're more organized, they take care of finances better and stuff like that. There were men that I've seen on court shows that would say, oh, well, I just hand my check over to my wife, and what is this? I just hand my check over to my wife, and she handles everything. She writes up the check, she takes care, she balances the book, she does all that stuff. So she pretty much becomes the accountant in the home, right? So that's where it starts getting a little tricky, right? Because now, little bit by little bit, the man is relinquishing his control to the woman of the household, right? Financially. And that's why a lot of women start becoming masculine in a sense, because even though the man is going out and making the money and doing all this stuff, what's happening? What's happening is that the woman is going home, going and balancing checkbooks and dealing with the money that she doesn't even earn, right? So then that causes a problem. Now, back to the question, would you or do you trust your spouse to be solely responsible for your finances? Me personally, it varies from household to household, right? Some women are really good with knowing how to balance a checkbook, how to handle finances, how to pay bills and everything. I think the finances shouldn't solely be the responsibility of one person in a relationship at this point in time. There has to be checks and balances. There has to be somebody to go behind the person, check it, and make sure that everything is on the up and up. Because there's so many people taking advantage of the fact that they are solely responsible for the finances. Back then, it was what was supposed to be done. You feel me? Like, men were supposed to take care of the finances because they were supposed to take care of the finances, right? Now, in a world where it's not supposed to, when it happens, it's like, oh, well, you know, I could say I'm bringing in this amount of money, but really I'm making this amount of money, but I don't want her to know about that I'm making this, and you know, and there's too much sneakiness going on. So will I be able to trust my partner solely to take care, like trust my spouse to be solely responsible for the finances? Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. If he was the only one bringing the money in, yeah. No. I struggle with that. And I know it's probably something I need to work on, but I still feel like there should be some type of checks and balances, because you don't want to be out there like what you call on Diary of a Mad Black Woman. She up there, she taking care of the boy Charles, and he pretty much is like, listen, when he realized he didn't want to be with her no more, he wanted to be with his side joint, whatever, he kicked her to the curb, kicked her out of the house. Kicked her out of the house, took all the money away. And she was just like, she ain't never have a job or nothing. She didn't have no type of income coming in on her side of things. So when he was like, he was done with her, she didn't have no say in nothing. And I'm sorry, I don't ever want to be in that position. It's so much shadiness going on. I wouldn't want to be that woman in the position to be like, oh, I'm gonna let my man handle everything, and then at the end of the day, I don't know if any bills getting paid. I don't know if anything getting. You won't know until the lights getting shut off. I was watching People's Court, and this guy was the plaintiff, and he was suing this other guy, saying that the other guy had a tote with Jordan jerseys in it, and it was worth money, and this and the third, and the guy, this guy looked like he definitely could work, definitely was able-bodied. This the plaintiff, this is the person that brought the lawsuit, and he was like, yeah, well, we were getting evicted from our house, and he was asked to watch this tote or whatever that had the jerseys in it. And Judge Millian was like, well, wait a minute, when did you know you was going to get evicted? Because this had been going on for some months. And he was like 8 months. I was behind on rent. And I found out, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then he was like, and then the defendant kept saying, this is the person that was getting sued. He kept saying that the plaintiff's wife told him he can get rid of whatever and that he could keep whatever. And I was like, this dude got a whole wife and they got evicted. I'm like, I'm missing something. And so he was talking about yeah, those jerseys was worth like, you know, one was worth like $1,700, the other one was worth this and third. So Judge Millian was like, okay, so I know a way you could have paid rent so you wasn't evicted. Hinting to him that he should at least sold something to make some money so that he could pay his rent. And I just don't see how you could be a wife in that situation, married to a man who, like, that they apparently had a whole bunch of stuff that they was trying to find storage for that he didn't have the know-how to say, I'm going to go get a job and pay the bills or whatever. So I'm just like, no, I'm sorry, I can't be in that situation. I wouldn't be able to trust my spouse to be solely responsible for the finances. Like I said, there has to be checks and balances. Like, we need to sit down together, and I have to know, even if, like, let's say for the whole month he's just going, he's spending money, he's take care of whatever. But once a month we gotta sit down, and I have to know where the money is going to, and hey, some people might be like, oh, you want too much. If he making the money, why would you want to know where the money is going? Because I wouldn't want to be homeless. I would want to know that the rent is getting paid, the electric bill is getting paid, the water bill is getting paid, everything is getting paid. And some people was like, well, why wouldn't you just get with a mate that you could trust them to do all that stuff? So they're saying you don't trust your mate. So why would you be with somebody that you don't trust? Well, that's a good question. Why would I be with somebody else? Maybe that's why I'm alone. Maybe that's why I'm alone. I can't answer that question. Maybe that's why I'm alone. But I would be able to trust it. I would be able to trust it. So y'all leave in the comments with how y'all feel about that. What's up, Bari? He said, oh, wait a minute now. I see you got friends on tonight too. And he said, I think that's a fair thought. Are you talking about the financial discussion? Because, yeah, listen, I don't want to be left out in the lurch. I don't want nobody telling me, oh, y'all getting evicted or any crazy stuff like that. Because if I get evicted from my home because my significant other is not doing what he's supposed to do to take care of business, I'll be really upset. I'll be highly upset, okay? And we would not be together no more. So, like I said, yeah. And you know, everybody's opinions are different, and opinions are definitely welcome here. This is an open forum. So if you have any comments you want to leave about that financial topic, so he said, so Bari says, yeah, so I feel like it's fair to come to the table and ask what's going on with the bread. Exactly. Like I wouldn't, my thing is, it's not me saying I don't trust you. It's just, I feel like we should have a meeting of the minds at the end of the day. Like, I should know what's going on, and I shouldn't feel like, oh, well, I shouldn't feel like I'm making you feel some type of way for asking the question. Because that's retarded, you know? So, guys, I really appreciate y'all for tuning in thus far. It is now 9:45, and we're going to jump into our Jeopardy. But before we even jump into the Jeopardy, I want to just say that was our financial tip for tonight, our financial discussion. So I'm going to throw that up there. That was our financial tip for the night. And tonight we had our topic, which was men selective in choosing who to marry, but not who to carry. And I wanted y'all thoughts on that. So why is it that men are selective in choosing who they marry, but not who they choose to carry their children? We talked about that briefly. If you have any thoughts on that, y'all could definitely watch the replay and comment below so I know where y'all stand on that. But like I said, we're about to jump into our Jeopardy. I want to just shout out our sponsor real quick. Our sponsor is Euphoria Water. Euphoria Water is the cleanest, healthiest water in Philly. Alkaline water with minerals, no chemicals, no additives. It is good and good for you. If you're going to hydrate the right way. Get your Euphoria Water today. You can find Euphoria Water on IG under Euphoria Water. That's UPHORIAWATER. And if you live in the Philadelphia area and want Euphoria Water delivered to your home, you can call Captain at 267-707-8279. Like I said, we're going to jump into our Jeopardy, which is fictional couples Jeopardy. Do you know these couples that stood the test of time? And why did I choose fictional couples Jeopardy? Because tomorrow, actually in a few hours, it's going to be Valentine's Day. So I said, let me do something that's related to Valentine's Day. What can I do? And I decided to do fictional couples Jeopardy because I didn't even realize there was so many different fictional couples that kind of like, were our relationship goals and in some people's eyes, right? I think they focus a lot on toxic relationships now, which is unfortunate. But luckily, millennials and Gen X and even those from the boomer era were able to see people depicted on screen that warmed your heart. You liked seeing them together because it made you all gushy inside. You started thinking that maybe these people was actually together in real life because of how close they were on screen. And we don't really see a lot of that now. We see a lot of people, I could say in the Black community, a lot of the couples that they depict on screen are toxic relationships. They really shouldn't be together, but they're together. You know what I'm saying? And we shouldn't be like, like the couple on In Living Color. There was a couple played by Takima and David Allen Greer. Was it Takima or was it Kim Waynes? I think it was Kim Waynes. But they did this skit where they every skit they did, this old couple, they tried to kill each other. And they be like, oh, you almost got me. You almost got me. You almost got me. And we laughed, the ha, ha, ha. Like, this is funny. But they was just playing. But now you got couples that's actually doing stuff like that. Blueface and Krishan, they're actually out here hurting each other. And people are like, oh my gosh, if it ain't a love like Blueface and Krishan, I don't want it. That's so stupid. Like, why would you want to have such a toxic relationship like that? It makes absolutely no sense. But like I said, coming up as a millennial and seeing all the old TV shows of yesteryear, we were able to see what love looked like on the big screen. And it wasn't always sex. It was actual love. It was kisses on the forehead. It was hugs. It was listening to one another. It was coming to a solution together. It was togetherness. Like, it was just so wholesome and so real. And today kids might look at it like, oh, that's cheesy, that's, you know, because they're so used to the toxicity of all these different relationships that are put out there, especially on reality TV. Like people saying, if I ain't got a love like Peter Guns and Amina, I don't want it. If I don't have a love like, and it just be so stupid because like they pick the most toxic couple and say this is relationship goals. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense, but you can't because it don't make sense. So I'm gonna look at the comments once again. We're gonna jump into this you know, this fictional couples Jeopardy. Yeah, like Triva Lafayette said, Blueface and Krishan, the new Stephanie and Triple H. And here's the thing about that, right? Stephanie and Triple H, they are a married couple in real life, but they acted on WWE going against each other and everything on the big screen because it made for a good storyline and it was funny. But Krishan and Blueface, like, they're an actual couple acting like this. And they're too young that I don't even think that is because they watched Stephanie and Triple H on TV. So we can't even blame, you know, that. Now, and that's the difference. That's the difference. Then when you got Blueface and Krishan, they not acting, they are actually beating the hell out of each other. You know, it's not funny and it's not cute. But I digress. This is fictional couples Jeopardy. This is couples that stood the test of time. If you know fictional couples, you know those people that have been on these sitcoms and everything like that and have made a staple, and you want to come on here and win $20 Cash App, you can definitely do that. Let me see. I left the link on both Facebook and on YouTube. So if you would like to join in to the festivities, you can definitely do so. You must have your camera on. You must have a Cash App because the prize is going to be $20 Cash App. There are 21 questions tonight. All right. I think they're fairly easy because if you know fictional couples on television, then you would know the answers to these questions. Okay. We have 5 100 point, 5 200 point, 5 300 point, 5 400 point, and we have a final Jeopardy question. Right now, how does this fictional Jeopardy work? How does fictional couples Jeopardy work? How does Jeopardy work? Anytime on my show, you must answer in the form of a question. If it's not in the form of a question, it will be wrong. Even if the answer is right, it will be wrong. All right. So if I say the color of the sky is this, you must say what is blue in order to be correct. Right. So we've had Try on here. He's been the champ. I don't know if he's even on right now. We've had Reg on here several times. Last week, Carl came on here and he did not score a lick, but I admire him trying. Okay. Please don't be scared. Please step up to the plate. And once you hit that link, you'll be taken backstage. You can choose your name. You can choose how you want your camera to look, all that great stuff. And then you will be backstage ready for me to bring you on so you could do this head-to-head fictional couples Jeopardy. While the music plays, I'll be waiting for people to come on in. If you know anybody who is competitive and they like doing stuff like Jeopardy, please share the love by sharing the live. Share it with them. You can share it via Instagram, via Facebook, via whatever. Please share the link so that they can come in and they can participate in this fictional couples Jeopardy. My goal is to get at least 5 people up here to go head to head and see who is the champ, okay? And to dethrone Try because he won last week, and I'm tired of him taking my money. So if you know anybody, please share the live, share it with them so that they can jump on. And I'm just trying to see who's going to be backstage. In the meantime, in between time, I'm going to play some music so that those people can go ahead and take their place backstage so that we can get this Jeopardy on and popping. All right, y'all. I don't see anybody backstage just yet, so I'm guessing I'm not gonna do the fictional couples Jeopardy tonight, which is cool. I'd rather keep money in my pocket anyway. I'm really I'm surprised because some people not even on that I thought would be on. So I guess that pretty much wraps up the night. I'm not gonna force anybody to jump on here and do the Jeopardy that don't want to do it. Maybe I'll save it up for next week. But I was just trying to see if people would jump on, and nobody's jumping on tonight. So I guess everybody's scared. Everybody's scared. It's cool. It's whatever. What I'm gonna do is next week we'll just pick up and maybe we'll do it next week. Oh, hey, Brink. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, people are scared to jump on here and do this fictional Jeopardy. So what I'm gonna do is, like I said, I'm just gonna save it for next week. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Like I said, we did our hit it and quit it. And our hot topic tonight was on men being selective on who they choose to marry, but not who they choose to carry. Please watch the replay. Let me know your thoughts on the topic. And our music discussion was on Beyonce and the Grammys not winning album of the year simply because she's won too much. And we also discussed Riri's halftime performance. You know, went into details on that. Please watch the replay and see what I said about that and leave your thoughts about her halftime performance below if you want to. And also financial discussion. Financial discussion was on, would you or do you trust your spouse to be solely responsible for the finances? And I said I just simply cannot. Okay, I simply cannot. I do appreciate all of y'all for tuning in tonight. Think Different TV is every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube and on Facebook. Think Different TV YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment. Do all those great things. Turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any episodes, replays, or exclusive interviews from Think Different TV. Shout out to our sponsor, Euphoria Water. Euphoria Water is the cleanest, healthiest water in Philly. Alkaline water with minerals, no chemicals, no additives. It is good and good for you. If you're going to hydrate the right way, get you Euphoria Water today. You can find Euphoria Water on Euphoria Water on IG. UPHORIAWATER. And if you live in the Philadelphia area and want Euphoria Water delivered to your home, you can definitely contact Captain at 267-707-8279. Hey guys, I hope you got a lot of value out of what I've shown you tonight. And as always, have a great week, and I'll see you all next week. And I'm out.
Think Different TV. Live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hosted by me, your girl LaShia. Join me as I discuss social topics, spotlight independent artists, and share financial tips. Join the conversation. I want to hear what you have to say. Think Different TV, where minds meet. You're the reason I